continue with part 7 of Federalist number 11. The paragraph starts with, "This branch of trade ought not to be considered as a partial benefit. All the navigating states may, in different degrees, advantageously participate in it, and under circumstances of a greater extension of mercantile capital, would not be unlikely to do it. As a nursery of seamen, it now is, or when time shall have more nearly assimilated the principles of navigation in the several states, will become a universal resource. To the establishment of a navy, it must be indispensable." Okay, this is not going to make sense if you haven't watched the previous parts, but let me just kind of try to encapsulate it, give you a brief summary. Hamilton is encouraging the states to unite under this new constitution. He says, when we unite, we will build a federal navy and can stop other navies of the monarchical empires that are around us to push us around and not give us a fair trading system for us to live under. In other words, they will not allow us in their ports. They will not trade fairly with us, on and on and on. It says if we unite, we'll stay strong, build a federal navy, can create strategic advantage, because if two of those monarchies go to war, we can side one and tip the balance, give the advantage to one side and show them how important we are this way. If the war is in Caribbean, which is right down here, we're so close to it, we're much closer to the scene of action than the European countries will be. That would give us another advantage. Okay? And now, in the previous part, it said, we want a strong navy so that we'll have the right to fish in this area. Remember it talked about fisheries? To fish in this area and sell the fish at a better price than the British or Spanish or French would. And this way, we will get more people involved in commerce, in shipbuilding, in being sailors. And here in this paragraph says, that is not our only advantage. That's not the only advantage when we do that. What happens is when you have strong commerce and you have a strong commercial, ships, that naturally employs a lot of people, especially from these northeastern states. And these people will have experience as being sailors, and they can eventually, when we have a big navy, we'll have a nursery of seamen. Means that these will be ready, our naval ships will be ready to take advantage of these trained sailors. They're these trained seafaring people when the time comes. So he says this is another advantage, where he says the branch of trade ought not to be considered as a partial benefit. He says just don't look at it partially. Don't look at a part of it. Look at the other advantages that it has. And that advantage is you have more commercial ships. You'll have people trained to be at the sea. And when the time comes, when we have a navy, we could use those trained people and employ them in our federal navy. The next paragraph is, To this great national object, a navy, notice it is capitalized, N-A-V-I, Navy, N-A-V-I, union will contribute in various ways. Every institution will grow and flourish in proportion to the quantity and extent of the means concentrated towards its formation and support. The Navy of the United States, as it would embrace the resources of all, is an object far less remote than a navy of any single state or partial confederacy, which would only embrace the resources of a part. It happens indeed that different portions of Confederated America possess each some peculiar advantage for this essential establishment. The more southern states furnish in greater abundance certain kinds of naval stores, tar, pitch, and turpentine. Their wood for the construction of the ships is also of a more solid and lasting texture. The difference in the duration of the ships of which the Navy might be composed, if chiefly constructed of southern wood, would be of signal importance, either in the view of naval strength or of national economy. Some of the southern and of the middle states yield a great plenty of iron and of better quality. Seamen must chiefly be drawn from northern hive. The necessity of naval protection to external or maritime commerce and the conduciveness of that species of commerce to the prosperity of a navy are points too manifest to require a particular elucidation. They, by a kind of reaction, mutually beneficial promote each other. Notice where it says are points too manifest to require a particular elucidation. Means this is so obvious that we don't need to explain it anymore. So at the beginning of the paragraph, it says another reason we need a federal navy of the 13 states is, he says, look, the southern states, their trees, the wood that we can get from it is better quality for building ships. They last longer. They also have tar, turpentine, and pitch. Those are also things that you use in shipbuilding, things of that sort. It says those come from the southern state. So if the southerners were a confederacy and were not part of the Union, they would have the good wood and tar and turpentine, but they wouldn't be able to take advantage of these middle states. We know in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and that places, there's lots of iron. So they would not be able to take advantage of these iron ores that are here as a resource. So if the middle states wanted to confederate together, they would not have the advantage of getting the best wood for shipbuilding from the south. And that wood is actually going to be sold for other reasons. So that's another natural resource for the nation. And he says also the northern part of the country, notice they call this part eastern too at times, because if you draw a line from here, most of the New England states are east of that line. So they call them New England states, eastern states, northeastern states. They said they have a lot of seamen just because for years and years they've been in trading and building ships and doing commerce with ships, so they just have a lot of seamen. So what we'll do is if we unite, we'll have the advantage of all the three sections. But if we do not unite, then we'll have a disadvantage in the sense that we won't either have enough seamen, or we won't have enough iron, or we won't have enough good wood to build the ships from. So that's another reason for this union. Okay, I'll read the next paragraph. Well, maybe not. Maybe I better stop because this is already 10 minutes into it. So I'll explain the next paragraph. But think about it. What applies to these states, as Hamilton says it, that applies to the countries of the world. What we are doing, spending a good chunk of our resources on armament. We have to start thinking of disarmament. We have to think of bringing this human family together quicker so that we can better use our human talents for progress of mankind. So I will, this was part 7. I'll see you in part 8.